Hi and welcome back. We're doing guns. So, what I'm going to do here is the Necron use kind of gauss weapons apparently for stripping flesh and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build one of those. Now the actual ones that come on the Necron Monolith are pretty dull. So I'm going to do what I can to spruce them up, but you know, they're still going to be keeping in line with the whole kind of philosophy and design of this kind of thing. So, where to start? Well, easy enough. We start with a cannon. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to draw out my initial cannon shape, and I've got a sketch that I've stuck to my wall so that I can get some ideas from it. Now if we look, that's not perfectly flat, as you can see. It's coming out at an angle, which is no use to me at all. So if you want a nice flat surface the easy way, draw out a box like that, then do my cylinder off that, any old size, doesn't matter, and then kill the initial box. And now this is in the right kind of location, more or less, once I move it to here. Then I can do some work on it. Okay, first things first then, let's bring it down to a size that I want. And I'm going to lower the height down to about that. Reduce the radius to around about that. Fat enough to pose a threat. And keep it at about 18 sides. Convert to editable poly. I'm going to call this our Gauss cannon for the moment. There we go. Now then, with our Gauss cannon, let's do a quick thing where I'm going to look at how many polygons I've got and then lament because I've got my calculations wrong. Oh no, I've got them right. See? Because I want to be able to offset one polygon on each of these things. Like so. Okay, I'm not doing that yet though. And don't worry, we're not making some sort of infantile, stupid looking weapon. Right. First things first, beveling. As we can see, we can bevel, but it's going to be difficult. So, that's about the smallest I can do with my mouse, which is no use to me. So let's do it using this method instead. 0.5 with an outline amount of 0.5 as well. I'll just bring these down. There we are. Now I'm going to do a bevel. Give it a height of 0, and then affect the outline amount. Get up to about there. Like so. Fine. Next I'm going to extrude this part to about there. And then if I go into my viewport, I'll select all these lovely polygons. And I'm going to use a quick slice. I don't even need to select the polygons to do this. I can just get a quick slice. Click, drag it like that, select. Then I can just click and select these polygons here. And now I can select this part here, kind of perspective. This used to drive me nuts when I was new at doing Max. I'm trying to remember how the hell to do this part. Okay, we can do an inset. Not too much of an inset though. Say to about there. Now I'm going to do an extrude by 0 and grab my scale tool, scale it in like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is grab all this part here, grow like that. Oh, grew a bit too much. Hang on. Try it again. Okay, grow. That's better. Shift and drag. Just clone it to an element. Now I'm going to rotate this section 180 degrees. And again 180 degrees. Now I'm going to move this over to here. Select this part and move it back into about here. Delete. Delete. Now when I bridge this, this is probably going to twist. We'll just have to see. Nope, it's fine. Which only goes to show something. Now, if I grab this part, slide it into the correct place more or less, which is about there, and then I select here, grab this and this, do a ring, a loop, backspace to delete them. Now go to this viewport here, get rid of those, drop into perspective, check the model, yep, that's fine. Okay, we can now move in a little bit closer, so, well, not closer, a little bit nearer to the end, so I'll just cap that off and continue. And the next part is this kind of straight extrude to about there, and you've got to bear with me, I'm kind of looking at my wall while I'm doing this, which is where I've got stuff. Just going to reduce the outline amount there, click apply. Now I'm going to come around this side, push the height out a little bit, apply, reduce the height, outline amount, apply, height again, sorry, increase, not decrease, apply, and apply, like so. That gives us this nice shape here. Now if we grow this back, then pull it off, spin it around, move it back in to about here. Right, now select here and here, do an inset, and then a bridge, then pull this part, shrink that a little bit closer to there. See, starts to work out okay, doesn't it? Now, kind of looking at this shape here, what I want to do, grab here and here, and here and here. Same again on this side. Look on the top. Just get matching pairs. Alright, just bring them back like that. Gives us a nice shape. Quite funky. Right, now I'm going to select this part. Just use my scale tool to bring it in just a teeny bit more. And then cap it. Now I'm going to grow this part out. Again using an extrude. Give it a nice long barrel here. We'll assume these are mad processes of some kind that these things use. God knows, it makes no sense, but it doesn't have to. Why? Because it's science fiction. Okay, we'll use bevels. Move this to over here. Affect the outline amount first. Apply. Now bring down the outline amount. Apply. Bring it down again. Click OK. Now do a little inset. Click OK. And now we're starting to get somewhere. Right. So now we have the initial kind of basic shape of this weapon. What I'm going to do now is start selecting parts, and I'll use the top part as a selection area. I was wondering what was wrong there. I actually selected the wrong part. I was about to start, banging my head off things. Okay, we're going to do a small inset, and I mean small, so bring this right down to about there. Control R, just bring that in, like that, and then hit delete. Okay, now we're going to do the same over here. While it's technically possible to do these all simultaneously, I prefer not to. just in the off chance that I bugger up my model and miss something while I'm doing it. Okay, and delete that. See, made a mistake there already. Mustn't be complacent when you do these things. Okay, quick insert. In that back, just a little bit like that. And delete them. Now this one. Insert. And scale it back. And delete. There we go. So this gives us this kind of hollow thing going on here. Which is cool. Right, now, making sure this ends on here and this ends on here. I'm going to do a shell modifier, which I prefer not to do because it's going to go inside here if possible. However, I suppose we don't really have to if I don't want to. Let's have a look. Actually, no, sod it, I'll do a shell, otherwise I'll be here all day. So an S, shell. Now you can see already there's been a little something does happen there. Let's reduce the outer amount considerably, and then pump up the inner amount to give some thickness to this. You can bevel the edges if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it personally at the moment. Just be careful how much you set the inner amount by. Just take a point of having a quick look around the model to see what horrible things it's doing to it. It could be worse, I suppose. Okay, convert to editable polygon. Right, now what we do here is we open this end, which makes our gun barrel for flaming energy to come out of. And then where that end is there, we flip. Not insert, we flip. Silly computer. And then extrude it again. All the way along here until it nearly collides. It's about there. And this is our core of glowing energy that will be inside said Gauss weapon. Okay, next thing we're going to do now is apply kind of these really awesome Elvis Presley style fins, which are for directing the energy, I will assume, in some way, shape or form that us mortals don't understand. So what I'm going to do is look at this shape here. I'm going to grab these two parts, 1 and 2, and looking at my sketches, hold shift, I'm going to drag this part up and just clone it to an object for the moment. The pivot point stays the same, so that's okay. Now on this, if I get in nice and close to it, as I can now, go through here and here to connect, then get rid of these edges here. I really don't want those ones. Now, if I just do a select all and an extrude by 0, and what I'm going to do is kind of bring that up to about there. Go to my front view so I can zoom on it better. Okay, that's about right, and I'm going to scale this down, flatten it. It's a lot easier when you've got a nice flat canvas to work with. Okay, and I'm just going to move this across to about here, this to about here, and if I go through the middle, do connect, and flatten the connect I've just made. It's an important part because it means we can actually get some shape into it. There, there. I'll do it again. This time we don't need to flatten it so much. Really pull this one in a bit. Okay, now down here, this one will be quite wonkety. That's okay. Same here. Okay, right hand viewport. Let's get a look at this shape here. At the moment, as you can see, it's quite fat, which, you know, we don't really want, so the easiest way to do that's going to be using the scale tool. We're only scaling it on one axis. See that? We missed a part at the back there, but that's okay, because we weren't supposed to have all of it anyway. Just make sure it's all selected the way we wanted, before doing various Bob Ross-like terms like this is our world and happy little accidents. There we are. Drop up to here, and now we can see the shape I've got, and I'm getting happier with this shape. Now, let's go over here. I mean, you know, a lot of what you're looking at regarding the design of this race either speaks volumes one way or another. A, the designers, you know, kind of liked what they were doing but couldn't think what to do for the aliens, or B, it's a race of killer psychopaths who don't really care about anything. Now, depending on your whole view of the design, it could go either way. Okay, let's move these in a bit. You notice what a difference it makes us doing this little bit here? Actually, I don't want to move that one there, I want to move the entire polygon set. Nowadays we want to make sure that this remains a part of this part of the weapon here, and because we're avoiding kind of steampunk designs, we want to avoid anything that looks like welding if we can avoid it. Chamfer's good, welding bad. I know it's kind of a reverse of the design philosophy I normally use, however, trust me on this one. I'll just click that and click grow actually. Works just as well. There we are. Now check it. Nicely rounded, where it should be. Okay, now we're going to build this kind of sickle style thing that's coming up top. So, we'll look at this design here. I mean this shape here rather. Quite a complicated little shape, this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude it by 0, then bring it straight up like that. And now straight through the middle of this, I'm going to attach a connect. This means I can now start kind of straightening up this area a bit the way I want it. Before I do though, oh hello render texture. Let me guess, I hit 0 by mistake. Off you pop. Right, before I do that, let's start straightening up some of these lines on the top. Okay, that's 1. Let's bring this in nice and narrow at the top there, 2. I'll bring that in a bit, just to straighten those up. You'll notice that these now need to be straightened again. Not expanded that way. Okay, that gives us a nice small surface. It's all nice and flat at the top here. Now, I really need to do something with this keyboard because it just whizzes around all over the place. There we go to there. expand. Bloody thing. Expand this out to here. Okay, it's all about trying to get this kind of even shape once we get to the top here. Okay, front, fine, right, yes, zoom in. That to there. Drop the perspective again and zoom. Okay, you're going to move in that part there a little bit, or maybe move this part out a little bit. I think I'll move this one out. Let's have a look at the back shape. Actually, no. There we are. Grab this. To there. And to there, just to straighten it. Control grab, and then move this part manually. Drop the perspective again and have a look. Okay, we're certainly getting the shape that I'm more or less after here. Maybe a little bit more refining and it's going to be okay. First things first then, I want to go over the top here. Connect. As Bob of Ross would say, hey, let's go wild. I know it seems like something very small and insignificant, however you're going to notice it. So it's important to try and get it right. There we go. Much better. Shape's certainly there. Now then, this part here could do with a little bit of work. So I'll just go through here and do a connect. And what I want to do is move these parts here. So I'll go to the right hand zoom. Okay, perspective. There, that's better. Okay, only a little bit left more straighten here. A little bit left more. That's good, isn't it? Hey Chris, where did you learn to spell and read and talk? A little bit left more. Perspective zoom. Getting there. I still wonder if I'm straightening the wrong bits. Yeah, I am. I'm straightening the wrong bits. These are the bits I'm supposed to be straightening. I was wondering why it wasn't working. And you're probably wondering, Chris, why are you even doing this? You should be going and getting a cuppa. And you're probably right. Maybe I'll go out and rescue some little squirrels and bring them on the show. There we go. Good shape. Good shape. Okay, I'm going to move that one as well. Notice that I'm marquee selecting while I'm moving them. Notice also I'm not saying as much. That probably means that I'm trying to use my brain in a kind of primitive and amusing manner. There we are. Okay, that's fine. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So I look at the design that I want. Luckily, you see, I've got a big whiteboard next to my desk that I draw a lot of my designs on. So I can look at it and go, aha, that's what I'm after. Okay, now I'm going to grab here and here. Pull these down a bit. Better. That gives me a better shape to work with. Now I select here and here, click grow, select that part, I'm going to extrude it by 0, and then pull it back, like so. Push it in a little bit. I'm going to put some connects through it. 3. Now I'm going to grab it all, and I'm going to do an FFD on that part. 3 by 3 by 3 should be enough. Just click where it says FFD to open up the deforming, and get busy. Again, just kind of looking at the shape. Sometimes you need to apply a few FFDs depending on how your model's going, so don't be worried if you need to do it a couple of times. Okay, now I'm going to select all these, straight through the middle, do a scale in, and again. Okay, and that gives us that shape there. I'll just collapse it rather than just click and convert to. Now there's our edge, and I can bring this edge in a little just by doing this. Makes it much nicer and tighter. Now, front end. This is going to kind of hook around a bit. So I'm going to click Grow. Then I'm going to click this part here. And I'm going to extrude it yet again by nothing. Then just use my Move tool just to bring it out as far as I think I need to. It should be about there. And at the end, I'm going to kind of flatten it in a bit. And I'm also going to turn it over by about, I don't know, 40 degrees, more or less, and bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to go right the way through the middle here, and I'm going to do a load of connects, like that, which will give me a lot more freedom to kind of curve this shape. Now remember, an FFD 3 by 3 by 3 should pretty much be all you need for this kind of thing. There we are. Just click there to get my control points all selected. And you can either scale or use the Move tool depending on the kind of level of control you want. I tend to move 2 sets at once, simply because it gives me a lot more kind of control over my model. There we go, maybe like that. It's a nice shape. A little bit of raising just there perhaps. Just have a look at the hooking. Yeah, maybe a little bit more just there. And then just convert editable poly just to collapse the mesh. Now over here, what I can do is just select these parts, just raise them a little bit like that. Okay, that's fine. You'll notice it's given a nice smooth shape there. Now, if I select this part again, because it's obviously all one thickness, do an FFD again. There's been times I've been doing models and I've done the same part over and over again and have applied FFDs and FFDs to refine it down. It's a massively useful and very powerful tool. Scale that in. Scale that in. Maybe scale this out just a little bit more. There we are. To give us the shape. Now on the underside, I'm going to grab these parts. Like so, just bring them in. Then at the ends here, if I grow that, then do a little inset. A very little inset, you'll notice. An extrude. Bring that back. There we go. Just add a little bit of detail to the end. There, that looks better. Now, I'll just align this to the cannon. Did just click align to cannon and nothing bloody happened. So look, there's my pivot point for this and my pivot point for the cannon. Oh, they're the same. Oh, lorks a lordy. Because I moved the polygons, didn't I? You didn't tell me. I moved the polygons. Oh, never mind. I've had pivot only, center to object. Easy enough to repair with something this small. Let's Drag it down until we get the intersect going on, which is just there. Okay, now effect pivot only. Click the align tool and I'll align my pivot to this. Click OK. This means that I can now rotate my object, which I intend to do, 90 degrees times by 3. And now I can attach them all together to create what I can only call a basic Gauss cannon, like so. Okay, starting to get somewhere. Excellent. It's a nice detail on it too, which I like. I prefer it over those bloody dull models. Okay, so in the next part we're going to build the base for the actual Gauss cannon, the part that we're going to kind of wedge into that hole there. So until then, thanks for watching, and see you in the next part.